said, no, we can't afford this. And shut down 2 colleges of education and 2 schools of nursing. Anybody who knows the value of education, that the difference between Singapore, which has no natural resources, and Nigeria is education. That they invested in education, because when you educate your people, it's more than silver or gold. Rwanda, with the highest, which is the highest growing economy in Nigeria. Today I was there. Yesterday I was in Kigali. Yesterday, Rwanda, the fastest growing economy in Africa, has no mineral resources whatsoever.
Even though the system of governance at that time in Singapore, which they use in transforming the economy, still a subject of controversy across the world.
Dictatorial.
They call it, some say, benevolent dictatorship.
But the point I'm making is that because the military destroyed the educational system, we have a crop of Nigerians today, of my age and your ages, who are not raised or taught in the values and ethics of anything.
Yeah. All right, we're back after this. Please join us. All right, welcome back. Continuing our focus on looking at this, how to sort this challenge out we've got on our hands. Well, it's not exactly insurmountable, is it, in spite of all?
No. The problems of Nigeria are certainly not, absolutely not insurmountable. They are a problem of leadership, and Obasanjo hit the nail on the head.
Whoa, without those recent comments?
Yes.
Boy, I know there'll be a lot of response on this.
He's going to be criticized.
Where do we start from now? He talks about Salisu Boy.
Yes.
He says, when he came up with fake certificates, they got him impeached. He talked about the Lagos State governor at the time, Bola Tinubu. But he now said, when he said he went to government college Ibadan for a start,
the governor for
some people now went
to hit the certificate.
Took all the certificates so that nobody will go and check, and then they left him in office. And so we see 2 contrasting things. And he says, look, leadership, the younger generation now, maybe generation just directly beneath his, not ours, have failed.
I agree with him that there's a leadership deficit in Nigeria, and that it's so apparent, it's so obvious that there is. So obvious, but he will have to take some part of the blame.
How?
Obasanjo has had the privilege. He's one of the most privileged Nigerians ever. He had the privilege of ending the civil war. He was the guy who was the last man who ended the war. He became the military VP in 75, became the president in 76 at 39 or 38. And then, again, he had the opportunity at 62 to become the president again for 8 years. What did he do to groom leadership? If anything, Obasanjo has the distinction of making mistakes in the choice of those who succeed him. He appears to have been interested in Shagari succeeding him, and Shagari was phenomenally weak. He also appears to have been interested in Yaradua succeeding him, and Yaradua was not only physically unfit for the job, well, I don't know any other thing about him, and then he appears to have acquiesced to Jonathan becoming the VP, and now he's the president, and Jonathan's chief distinguishing mark is that he wants to please everybody, and that's not leadership. He's a weak leader because he wants to please everybody. And so he's not been able to maximize the privilege and opportunity of ruling the country. So Obasanjo, we have to take some blame. It is either there was nobody to choose from, and then the question would be, what did you do to groom leadership? There is a trite saying that success without a successor is failure. Obasanjo is one of the best leaders we've ever had. I think that his game between 99 and 7, the people criticize him a lot, but I think he was a good leader. I think he was. But virtually everything he achieved in his 8 years between 99 and 7 is gone.
Gone?
Yes.
How do you mean gone?
Undone by those who succeeded him. And how I wish it was the opposition that succeeded him from within his party.
Which is part of what he also raised.
His fight against corruption however jaundiced it was thought to be, there was something happening. His own boys, Yaradua, first thing he did was sack Ribadu. As if he defeated Obasanjo in an election. You wouldn't have thought that Obasanjo was one who put him there.
And the American example, for instance, we saw a different scenario, yes, where a Democrat president had to leave someone that was appointed by a Republican.
Absolutely.
So you say that was also a big mistake from the same party, and at the end of the day,
it just shows you that we have a leadership deficit in Nigeria. It is a problem. We are in trouble because I go back to military rule. Look at the Prime Minister of England, born in 1966. For me, it's interesting. For you guys, I mean, he's older than you guys, but I'm older than him by quite a number of years, not a year or two. Okay? The president, the Prime Minister of Russia as well. Now, I'm amazed. When you look at the CV of Cameron, he has been in parliament for like 15 years before he became the prime minister. He had an opportunity to understudy the system, to learn the system. And that makes him a better leader. What opportunity did the vast majority of guys who lead us at state level now, what experience did they have? What experience did James Ibori have?
This same comparison
what experience did anybody have?
Still speaking about leadership, I heard some analysis somewhere.
It is military rule that undid us.
And then they said, just as you said, the leadership of some of the clans, they know how to understudy. I mean, they almost know who the next person is going to be because it's part of the system. He's understudying, he knows what's up and how to go about leading the country. But in here, we see something completely different. You don't even know who is going to be. If you think this man is the most qualified, you're going to be shocked because tomorrow morning when something happens, you see something completely different. But in spite of all of this, could it be because if the guys who supposedly know, maybe the intelligentsia, are not stepping up to be counted, and so we leave it all for who you refer to as, well, they never do well?
No, that's a good one. I agree with your analysis. My thinking here is this. In 1999, after so many false starts, Abacha's plans to succeed himself and all the wuru-wuru and GBT that had to do with handover. And of course, you have in 1979, the civilians came in 83, they were removed. In 91, we had new governors who were elected in 92, IBB, annulled the elections. Then Abacha came with his own. So many of the good guys stayed away. Many good guys. That's part of the tragedy with Nigeria. Nobody thought Abdul Salami would hand over. The good guys stayed away. And many of the guys who came into the politics of 1998, 1999, were the ne'er-do-wells, the jobless, unemployed, indebted, discouraged. Those were the guys, many of them, not all, but many of them. And those are the guys who today, they call the ace in politics. Many good people did not put themselves forward. I can't name names, but you might guess that I have a faint idea of what I'm talking about, of the facts behind what I'm even saying.
But why is it that?
And so, experienced guys, people who could have made a difference, adopted a sit-down-look approach.
Comment on this.
I'll give you an example with Gani Fawehimi.
Oh, okay.
If you recall, in 1999, there was a crisis in the civil rights, civil society organizations, Joint Action Committee on Nigeria, JACON. There was a crisis. Olisa Abakoba was of the school of thought that they should get involved in politics. And Gani overruled everybody. He says, we are going to stay away. On June 12th, we stand, among other